Well, we'd like to welcome you to the Texas Association of Aging Programs first ever regional summit. And we're delighted to be hosting it in Corpus Christi to launch this new initiative by TAAP. And my name is Elsa Munoz. I'm the Superintendent for Senior Community Services for the City of Corpus Christi. And
my name is Lisa Oliver, also with the City of Corpus Christi Senior Community Services Division. So welcome if this is your first time to our city.
We'd like to recognize the board members for TAAP that are here with us today, so we will all stand. We're going to introduce you, starting with the chairperson.
The chairperson is Robert Lopez. Robert, smile and wave. Robert Diaz. Carrizo Springs. Laura Cisneros.
Good morning, San Antonio. Good morning.
Celia Smith.
Good morning, El Paso.
And then I also serve on the board, so again, welcome.
We'd like to also introduce Jose Zapata and Mark Johnson from the University of Texas Health Science Center. And he's going to give you some information about CUs, and Lisa will give you some housekeeping information.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let me bring you through some of the paperwork real quick concerning this conference. In your folder, in your black folder, there's going to be a blue sheet. This is called the participant profile. This is a voluntary demographic profile that you can fill out for us. It provides us grant monies to provide conferences, regional conferences in South Texas like this one. So we provide continuing education credits and all this at a low cost to needed communities around South Texas. Again, you can fill it out once over the 2-day conference, and you can drop it off at the registration desk after this conference concludes. The next sheet is the green sheet. This is the statement of attendance. We are providing activity director credits, certificate of attendance, licensed professional counseling, and social work credits for this conference. Just for reference, how many here are going to attain social work credits? Excellent. Okay, and activity directors or LPC? Okay, I'm not an easy Monday. Awesome. Okay. Again, you flip back the sheet, and I need the second page to be torn off and submitted at the front desk again before the conference concludes. And this conference is also being videotaped, and if you would like a copy of the videotape, please complete the event DVD form and turn it in, and you will receive the DVD in the mail. You can either elect to have Thursdays or Fridays or both days completed, and just go ahead and turn that in to us, and you will receive that promptly. And again, one last sheet is the event sheet that the South Texas GEC is presenting. We'll be coming back here in Corpus Christi on October 4th for the Alzheimer's Association Summit. So if you'd like to attend that conference also, there's information on that sheet for that future conference, and along with our website presenting you the future conferences that we'll be providing for South Texas and the Corpus Christi regional area. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, and we're excited to be in partnership with UTSA. Also, just some housekeeping items. Obviously, we have refreshments out in the foyer, and the exhibitor stations are already set up, so please visit some of our exhibitors that are supporting us today. In addition, if you're paying by credit card, we can now assist you. So during the break, please visit the registration desk once again so that we can take care of that. Also, restrooms, this is part of the wellness program. You're going to take a walk to the end of the corridor. There's restrooms there. Also, in the main hallway, there's another set of restrooms. So, yes, just be prepared to enjoy the scenery while you're here. Also, there's some seating along the way. And of course, if you have any questions, need additional information regarding the city, if this is your first time, if you're needing transportation, let us know. And our staff is here, Senior Community Services staff, so raise your hand so they'll know who you are. You're mainly sitting on this side of the room, so we will be also your ambassadors, so please let us know if there's anything that we can do to make your stay more pleasant. So enjoy your time, enjoy your sessions. There's a lot of information. Thank you.
Also, if you go into the foyer and you need to defrost, you can go out these doors, grab some sunshine, but make sure somebody knows you're going out, because they close automatically when you exit, so you'll have to do knocking, or be sure to take your phone, give us a call. Just a little bit of background reference on this summit. It is designed to be kind of a education training type of session for frontline staff who normally don't get an opportunity to go to state or national conferences. And so TAAP, the board of directors, have been meeting for quite a while, discussing, what track to take in terms of either doing a statewide conference or doing regional summits. So we've got some plans for already in the works for North Texas area, and possibly the El Paso area coming up within this next year. So we're really happy to be hosting, the first regional conference that TAAP is coordinating. And we look forward to your feedback. Please fill out your evaluation forms, give us your feedback, give us suggestions, training topics that you might like in the future, top 10 board member, and giving them your recommendations. I'm sure they would appreciate your input. So with that, I'd like to start out by introducing our first speaker. We have Jeff White. He is the Recreation and Senior Services Administrator for the city of Abilene. And Jeff, you ready?
Yeah.
Jeff is also a task board member. I don't know if you stood up when we were.
I was standing the whole time. No problem.
And he's also with the chairperson of the Leisure and Aging branch with the Texas Recreation and Park Society.
Well, I am glad to be here. I have a loud voice, so hopefully it won't echo too much. Like I said, I'm the Recreation and Senior Services Administrator for the city of Abilene, which is kind of a unique setup where the seniors have their own division, senior services, so it's good that they can't steal from rec or rec steal from them or vice versa, so we're glad about that. I previously worked for the city of McKinney, city of Louisville, and the town of Flowerman. I have about 10 to 12 years experience in this field and primarily on the senior side. So this presentation is going to be a modified presentation. The official title is How the TV Show Big Bang Theory Inspired This Presentation, Understanding the Myths and Misconception of Senior Centers. And we will briefly talk about the role of senior centers, the demographics of senior centers, myths that happen from the general public, myths from senior citizens that don't attend senior centers, and we'll review 3 outcomes, or 3 ways to overcome these myths. And the last one will be a programming one. That's what we're going to tie you guys into. So be ready to participate. You got about 20 minutes just to sit and lull. But other than that, we're going to get you guys up and going. You should have, does anybody need a copy of the PowerPoint presentation? If you do, just wave your hand. And before I forget, I do have business cards over here. I always forget that. So how many of you guys are fans of the Big Bang Theory? Let's see a show of hands here. All right, some. The part that we're at now, there's a dialogue between the 2 characters, and I will watch it, and then we'll briefly discuss it, and then start going into the presentation.
when Meemaw was alone, my mom arranged for her to visit a center 3 times a week where she could socialize with other lonely people. It's very nice. They discuss current events, play bridge, get a hot meal. That sounds lovely. It is if you like bridge. Do you like bridge, Leonard? I'm just not dating someone right now. I don't need to go to a senior center. Meemaw resisted at first, but now she loves it. Fine, if I don't meet someone soon, you can put me in a home. It's not a home, it's a senior center. I'd never put Meemaw in a home. Hey guys. Hey. All right.
Okay, that was kind of the inspiration. You heard that last line. It's not a senior, not a home, it's a senior center. Thank you. So that was kind of the inspiration behind this theory and to the general myths and misconceptions that people have in related to senior centers. Before we get into that, let's just discuss what are senior centers. How many of you guys work or supervise or network with a senior center by show of hands? Okay. Oh, good. Okay. So this is a great topic for you guys. Did you know Texas has about 500 different senior centers across its state, and all do different things. I once read a quote that said, if you've seen one senior center, then you've seen one senior center. And they all do something different. For example, when I worked for the town of Flower Mound, we had 6 within a 10-mile radius, 6 different senior centers, and from all different cities. So it was very competitive. And we did different things to try to, compete, so to speak, with the other ones. We offered a lot of trips and things like that. And now that I work for the city of Abilene, we're kind of on an island, kind of like Corpus is, 2 hours from everywhere. So, we've kind of got the main pool there. We don't have a lot of competition. But each one offers something different. Okay, let's see if this works now. Okay, so let's talk about the demographics of senior citizens. The first is the GI presentation, GI generation. These were born between 1909 and 1924. They have fought in 2 world wars. They respect traditions and value its duty before pleasure. They were actually the first to call themselves senior citizens. These individuals grew up in the Great Depression. They built playgrounds. They started scouting groups. Leaders put public interest over personal gain, which is something we don't see a lot today. Their attitudes were more formality. They wore suits and ties. It was uniformity. It was good and normal for everyone to agree and get along. Look the same, work the same. They put a lot of trust in government authority. And they were very civic-minded. The next one is the bridge generation, 1925 to 1945, often called the silent generation. These are children of the Cold War. They were the earliest marrying, earliest parents, the first divorce generation in feminist movement, and their retirement vision is more active. These are people between the ages of 68 and 88, and for those who work at a senior center, I would almost bet that that's your primary age demographic that you have there. Members of this generation experienced vast cultural shifts in the U.S. They were conflicted with morals, different ideas and desires. They're often called the silent generation, which is kind of a bit of a misnomer. In fact, a lot of the revolutionary leaders of the civil rights movement came out of this time period. The last group is the baby boomer group. These are born between 1946 and 1964. Just an interesting tidbit. Does anybody know why it ended in 1964? The unofficial theory is that was when the birth control pill was developed. So the official answer is they saw a decline in birth. That's ties in. We could do 2 hours on baby boomers. We're going to go through it quick. They have more about personal gratification. They distrust institutions. They're about staying young. personal growth, free-spirited, and the retirement vision is journey with varying phases. How many baby boomers do we have in the room today? Okay. This group is actually divided into two different sets of demographics. The first is born between 46 and 55, and these individuals grew up with the Cuban Missile Crisis, JFK assassinations, Martin Luther King assassination. They saw a man walk on the moon, sexual freedom, drug experimentation, civil rights, protests, Woodstock, R&B, from Beatles to R&B to Motown type of approach. The second group was born between 56 and 64, and these individuals experienced Watergate, Cold War, gasoline shortages, disco music, punk music, new wave, and MTV. Baby boomers are changing the world every day. Some statistics on them, they basically control roughly 80% of all the personal financial assets. They control 50% of discretionary spending power. They buy 77% of all prescription drugs and 61% of all over-the-counter medication. And they spend they control about 80% of leisure travel. So this is the group that we at work at senior centers are trying to get in, and we can see, of course, not everybody is different, unique, but it's kind of hard because, back when we were talking about the GI generation, everybody looked the same, kind of dressed the same, go to the same places, and we've progressed now where they're all over the place. The baby boomers, they're about personal gratification and what can you do for me now, and they want to stay young, and they think a senior center may be not the place to do that. Now, understand that all people born in these, these are just general characteristics. You can't define a whole generation by saying that all baby boomers are free-spirited. That's not the case. So just keep that in mind. It's simply a tool for you to better understand how to grasp the different cultures at your senior center. Okay, so next we went into some of the myths from the general public. So the first, and then this is what I asked some of my park board members and just some general people that I know. What do you think of when you hear the term senior center? And they said a place where old people go and hang out. I'm sure everybody's heard that. The senior citizens live there. It's a nursing home retirement community. That they just sit around, play bingo, drink coffee, and knit. That seniors can't strive to learn new things or stay active. And they have no idea what a senior center is or how important it is, an important role that they serve in our community. And there's confusion about what a senior center is. They think it's maybe a place for high school seniors. And recently I was in Abilene. We have 3 colleges, and they're all private colleges, and so I was asked to speak as a quorum, so to speak, of people in the senior field. And when I was preparing for this, first time I did this is where I got a lot of information about what they thought a senior center is. And a large portion of the class kind of knew what it was, but wasn't 100% sure. And so I took the opportunity, of course, to debunk some of these myths, as you would say. So we talked about how seniors at our facility dance, how they exercise, and when I got him, I said, yes, even hook up, so to speak. And I'm sure you've had that as you work in a senior center. You've had older widows or widowers get together. In fact, there's a wedding tonight at my facility. I don't think I'll be able to attend, but and there was talk of another one, so it happens. And so these are some of the myths that we have from the general public. What are some of the other myths that you see just from the general public? Anybody want to share any? Yes, ma'am.
It's a daycare.
It's a daycare. Oh, that's a great one. It's a daycare. Nobody else want to share?
Senior daycare.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get on to myths from senior citizens that don't attend your facility. It's a place where old people go to hang out. It's got a negative connotation attached to aging. My wife's uncle is 70, and he knows what I do, and he goes, I just want to commend you working with those old people. I'm like, oh, Skip, you're 70! You're old! probably experienced that a lot, just from people that you know or family members going, no, I don't want to go. That's where old people go, you know? They may not be aware of the services that we offer, the programs that are available to them. That all they do is sit around and play bingo. That the program services are maybe too physically or mentally challenging, or not enough challenging, not challenging enough. They have no desire to attend. There's nothing fun to do. And they think it was more of a church social rather than an active building. So let's see what's next here. Okay, so 3 ways to overcome these myths. The first is through marketing. We're going to talk about relationship marketing first. Many times, and I've been guilty of this, so I'm not preaching to the choir. We feel comfortable with, if we have 100 to 200 to 300 people come through our door, we go, man, those are great numbers that we're reaching. And we're satisfied with that. But we're really dismissing the other 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 senior citizens that live in your area that we're not touching. So we can help overcome these myths and get these people into our facilities by relationship marketing. Relationship marketing is designed to develop strong connections with customers. You know, I value building relationships with senior citizens, government officials, community leaders, and local businesses to attract, or basically act as agents on my behalf. So when I worked in the town of Flower Mound, we had we had a good relationship with our sponsors, and we would often have them go out, you know, as they met seniors that didn't attend our program. Basically, you don't hear that, sorry. Sorry, I lost my track. Basically, market for us. So we were very good at relationship marketing. We developed, when I worked with the City of Louisville and Town of Flower Mound are right next to each other. And so it's kind of like you don't know when you're going into one and into the other one. And so when I went from one to the other one, I developed a relationship with a marketer when I first started in Louisville. And she and I hit it off, had a great partnership. I was able to spend her marketing dollars like crazy. So as I switched jobs, she continued to switch jobs. And I think when I left there, she had switched 7 times. And so every time she switched jobs, one of the first things she would do is she would talk her boss into spending money at our facility. And so we developed an excellent relationship marketing. So I knew when she switched jobs because I'd see her come in with a different boss. You know, when she would come in and, yeah, this program is great, Jeff is great, blah, 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 blah. We need to figure out how we can get in here and help them. And all it allowed us to do was thus increase our events because we had extra money. You know, instead of charging, we could do it for free now, or we could add banana splits at the end of something, or whatever you want to do. So relationship marketing is a great way to help overcome these myths. Now, part of relationship marketing is word of mouth. Now, a lot of people use word of mouth advertising, word of mouth marketing. In fact, when we moved to Abilene, I kind of knew what it was, been there, but I didn't know what dry cleaner to use. So I just texted one of my friends and said, hey, who's a good dry cleaner? And he said, Tyler Cleaners on 14. And so we take our clothes to Tyler Cleaners on 14. And that's something that we all do. We all have word of mouth marketing. Have you tried, the latest dollar menu item at McDonald's? Have you tried, Joe's Barbecue Shack or whatever? So we all use relationship marketing. Now, how we can use relationship marketing with seniors is, there's about 7 steps here. We'll go through them quickly. One is conduct regular surveys so you can understand the current challenges and needs that you're facing with your seniors. The second one is integrate customer feedback so you can improve your events. Understand the power of social media. A lot of people, I think I read a quote or an article a couple weeks ago that said seniors are the fastest growing people on social media. And I'm thinking, yeah, they are, because everybody else is already on it. They're just now catching up. So we have to understand the power of social media even with seniors. When I worked in Flowerman, we would often teach Facebook classes. And the first thing I made them do is once they logged in was like our page. So we were all, so then they could see pictures of themselves or share it with their family and help grow from there. Conduct regular training sessions with your staff on customer service. This is key. I was in a staff meeting yesterday, and one of the people were complaining basically about poor customer service from another department in our division, and they were kind of scared to, let the boss know, so to speak. And I'm like, no, if my staff has bad customer service, I want to know immediately so we can correct it. So kind of the same thing with seniors. You want to make sure that they are the face of the senior center lots of times, your staff or yourself, and you want to make sure you portray it in a positive and helping manner. We want to stay on the cutting edge of offering new and creative programmings. We want to embrace high-tech technology, but not to forget to say hi or embrace a call, or make a call, sorry. The last thing is to relationship marketing with seniors is to go out of the way and let your seniors know how much you value them and how much you appreciate them coming. That goes a long way. The next one is social marketing. Social media is a term that a lot of people know, a lot of seniors know, but they can't quite grasp it. And they may have heard it, but they don't kind of know what it is. And I always correlate this. My grandparents growing up, were the GI generation, and they didn't believe in TV. They had a TV, but they never turned it on. And one day I was visiting them after playing golf, and my grandfather asked, if I played as good as Tiger Woods. And I had no idea he knew who Tiger Woods was, because they never watched TV, they listened to radio, they just read books. So, in social marketing and social media, we always need to make sure that we explain things in detail, because some of our older seniors may not know what Twitter is, or may not know what Facebook is, and they've heard of it because they hear on every commercial, hey, like us on Facebook, but they have no idea what that is. And as senior centers begin to focus on baby boomers, this is going to be really a key, because baby boomers have all the money, basically. Maybe not in this room, right? But a lot of them have all the money, and they're willing to try to stay young and hip, and so they have iPads, they have the newest smartphones and things like that. So we need to make sure that we have a presence on Twitter and or Facebook and or other options that we can relate to these people. The last one is brand marketing, and this is simply when I say Nike, everything's swoosh, shoes, everything. I think Apple, iPad, iPhone, whatever. And this is what we want to establish as senior centers. When they hear the term Como County Senior Center, they want to think, great place to go, meets all the needs of seniors, offers excellent programming, diversified in its population, diversified in its activities, things like that. You don't want to hear, oh, don't go there, they've got that person at the work in the front desk that's rude. We don't want to have that type of brand marketing. The second way we can overcome these overcome these myths is through finances. So you want to be creative in create a plan for requesting additional funds. So how do we request more? How many of you guys work for a city entity? Okay. How many work for like a nonprofit or governmental? Okay. We all need more money, right? You've heard the term do more or less. My staff is tired of hearing do more or less, but sometimes we all have to. Just if you come up with a creative plan to request additional funds, first thing you want to do is simply ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to request additional funds in your budget through fundraisers or whatever. But along with asking, you need to be prepared to justify that. So if we say, oh, we would, at the Corpus Christi senior services division, we're going to need 5 more people. Well, why do you need 5 more people? Well, you know, we've got, we really want to offer this program, or we just really need the bodies to help cover the facility. That's not really a justification. If we would say, hey, we want to open a new facility, we want to open, that reaches a new market that we're not into, or a new area of the town that we haven't tapped, or we feel like this is a big need, just be prepared to justify anything like that. Second is seek outside funding sources. Create new partnerships. Senior centers are in a prime position to create partnerships with local businesses that specialize in meeting the needs of senior citizens. For example, we have several vendors out here, and they're here today to help support, our event, but also to try to get their word out through marketing, kind of what we talked about earlier. You want to make sure you build excellent partnerships. We have in Abilene, we have a senior talent show coming up, and one of the things that we think is unique is if you want to be a title sponsor, we'd love to have you, but as part of that, you get to MC the event, but you have to try out for it. So just not everybody can do it, so it's kind of a catch-22, so we don't have somebody up there, we don't have Robert up there going, Comal County's senior services is great, just not doing what we want them to do. So you want to make sure you create new partnerships. And there are, when I worked in the Metroplex, there was like 800 home healths within our area, and every one of those had marketing dollars, and everyone had to spend that marketing dollar somewhere, and so that was where we were trying to get into. Another way that we can do this is through our schools, our school districts. And what I mean by that is that you can create new partnerships with them by having them even do some fundraising for you or things like that. So we've done that in the past, and it's a great opportunity where the kids, even if they do an adopted grandparent or something like that, that's a great program that we do. The last one is be creative with your spending and revenues. Always go and check with your boss or director before you start getting crazy. But you can take a look at your budget and see where you can slightly increase for more. And usually, and it's my experiences, and especially in the city government and working for a nonprofit, we're always level, able to go up 10% the next year, and so we can always justify it. So be creative with your spending and your revenues. And it's always better to get stuff for free. And like I said, it never hurts to ask. Okay, the last one is unique programming. And what I call unique programming is basically things that are out of the box. And we're going to get you guys to participate here in a second. So unique programming is things that you wouldn't think of a senior center offering. We all offer. How many of you guys have bingo or something related to bingo? I mean, by show of hands. Oh yeah. For some reason, I think bingo is the senior center. Is going to be the senior center killer. Of it all as it relates down, just because it gets labeled that so much. It seems like I catch myself when I talk about senior centers. One of the first few things is, what do you do? Well, we have this, and like the third thing is always seems to be bingo. And I'm just like, I don't want to go down that road. I'd rather just focus on, we have exercise classes led by senior citizens that, can provide motivation. They can kind of grasp where you're coming from, know what hurts, know what doesn't hurt, Or we have computer classes taught by seniors that understand the shortcuts and you're not, dealing with somebody that's a whiz kid in here going too fast. But I always seem to come back to bingo. So unique programming is something that we can do to overcome these myths. Now, how can we do that? Well, one is going back to kind of our marketing, is making sure that we get the word out as best we can. Whenever we have a unique program or a unique event, we always send it to the local newspaper. We always send it to local TV shows. We always have them come out for different things. So it's kind of going back to marketing a little bit, and we're debunking these myths that we have about senior citizens through programs. So how can we, what are we talking about? So that roundtable topics, this is where we want you guys to be involved. Any questions so far? Okay, about right on time. So what I want to do is we're going to have, this is table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So question, we're going to get you guys to meet with the who's at your table. So you guys will do question 1. What type of programs do you think will have overcoming this? You guys will do question 2. What trends do you see? And then you guys will do question 3. What areas of concern prevent you from doing these? And then you guys will do question 1, and you do question 2, and you do question 2. Okay? So meet together real quick, and then we'll go about give about 5 or 10 minutes, and then see what you guys come up with. Be interesting to see. Do you guys understand which one you have? Okay. Don't be shy. We're all friendly here. Okay, we're up against the clock here, so let's, who had question 1, what type programs events do you think will help overcome these myths? You guys, okay, so what did you guys come up with here?
To overcome the myths of senior centers, we thought media outreach with press releases with newspapers and TV, social media enrollment, benefit enrollment programs like with the Affordable Care Act when people need to start getting involved in programs, just having that as the central hub. Bringing in physicians and doctors to speak at the senior centers, that's a good way to let the public know that, you know, that's their provider. I also thought about, thought about mixers with local businesses, social media, of course, PTAs, SHAC meetings, having program managers go to them and to let them know about the resources that are available, I guess. SHAC is a School Health Advisory Committee. it's with the school systems.
That would tie in with your grandparents and other relatives raising grandchildren through the school districts.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And the shacks they love to have community members, partners come attend.
Who else? Did you guys have question one, Robert?
Yeah.
What did you guys come up with?
Laurie was going to tell you.
What?
He said I was going to tell you.
Okay.
We came up with different programs. We talked about different programs that would help change the NIST, get people in there and then kind of see that it is a little bit different than what they think it is. We had a Windows 8 class, or things that we discussed here was Windows 8 classes, yoga, cardio equipment, a pool, Wii bowling, hula hoop classes, belly classes, things like that would bring different people to come in there and try out the facility, and they realize it's not all just about what
Like bingo is
but it's bingo is
You can't take away bingo. They're great.
Parkinson dancing, art classes, wine, dancing.
Okay. Does anybody else have any, while they were reading that, does anybody else or talking about anybody else have any ideas that programs or events that they can do, or that they are doing? Yes, sir.
I'm from Georgetown, which is just north of Boston. We have a teen adventure coordinator, and he does after-school programs, and then on weekends does adventure trips like caving, rock climbing, kayaking, canoeing, camp out, stuff like that. And so we have all the resources to do that. So I started a senior adventure program.
Oh, okay.
We've gone, we've got several shooting ranges in the area, so we've gone and shot ski. We've been kayaking several times, hiking. We have a challenge course as well, so we've done a day on challenge course. We're in a really good part of the state that we don't have to go very far to do all those things, like caves, all that stuff. But that's been a really good program that'll debunk that senior center bingo mentality.
I'll probably run everybody on bingo. Bingo's great. It's just Okay, anybody else? Oh, that was a great program. I like that. Okay. Who had question 2? You guys did over here? Start with you guys. Who's going to speak over there? Everybody shy?
Sonia.
Okay.
That is not the shy group.
We were talking about a lot of things. I know that, I can't say at anybody else's center, but at my center, a lot of the seniors are very well educated on the computer. A lot of people think that those seniors don't know anything about computer. Well, that's not true. Cell phones, they all have cell phones. So they're, the seniors, and these seniors are 70 and over. So, some seniors are not as much educated on some things, but I see a majority of the seniors, and I look at their families now are teaching them, young kids or their grandkids or whatever is teaching them, you need to be on Facebook, Grandma, you need to have this, you need to have that. And so these seniors, the ones at my center, they are well educated on computers. So that myth about them not knowing, that's not true. Not true, y'all. So we talk about that. Anybody else?
And as a result of that myth, we're suggesting that we have the seniors send messages to at least one or more friends about the center that they attend, so they become the marketing tools for you versus not having them do anything.
I like that idea. Okay, who else had that? Did you guys have anything else?
We have number 2 also.
Are you doing it okay? Everybody's wanting somebody else down to talk.
Okay, I think one of the myths is a lot of times they think seniors don't exercise a lot. And at the senior centers, there are a lot of different exercise programs, like our Matter Balance program that has really, gone very well. As also, the seniors nowadays are very active. They don't really depend on somebody else to take care of them. They're there because they want to. So I think them coming out and bringing a friend so they can realize that the senior center is not just for old people, but it's for the older, younger people that still want to stay active and do various things and dress up and, you know, meet other people and I guess play bingo, but but they're also learning a lot of benefit information now that Medicare is changing a lot. The senior centers that's a place for them to be. So we see a lot of people bringing their friends in because of the big change.
Okay. Who had a question for you guys? Okay. Elsa, who's going to speak for your group?
One of the things that we talked about was that there aren't enough programs geared towards men. We do have men in our senior centers, and not all men want to play bingo. Not all men want to sit and make jewelry or a picture frame. So we need more programs geared towards men that would involve, for example, woodworking, that would involve automotive, that would involve something that attracts their attention. And we could even make it intergenerational, where the grandfathers have one day a week when the school allows them to go in and read to the classroom there, or they come over and read to us, you know, vice versa. But it would be for the men only, because that will give them a chance to be a little bit on the nurturing side, to get to spend time with the grandchild on an educational level and on a personal level with the other children. You know, those were things that we were looking at.
Okay. What about the back room? Bobby, who will speak for you guys?
Robert?
Suggestion on getting the men more involved.
Yes.
One thing that I've done, which is kind of faded right at the moment, but a golf day trip to a local golf course, you know, in the area. If they don't have somebody they play with regularly, you can create that by, you know, having several individuals sign up, and then all of a sudden they make buddies, and then, you know, they've got somebody to play with on other days as well.
Well, thank you. That's pretty cool.
Our recreation center was 16,000 square feet. 4.5 years ago, we passed bond election, or bond election had been passed, we added on, we went from 16,000 to nearly 65,000 square feet. So we renovated the 16,000 to a teen and senior center. The thing that prevents our senior programming is the teens. You know, the kids. Like in the summer, we do a day camp. This year, we took 100 kids a week for the day camp. Most of our rooms are like multi-purpose rooms. There's not a dedicated room for arts and crafts, you know, a dedicated room for this and that and other. So during the summer, our senior classes kind of get pushed off to the side and just wait till September, you know, and the kids get them. So that's one of our biggest issues. On top of, during the school year, we have 4 rec specialists that are programming all kinds of classes, from dance lessons, martial arts, athletic stuff. And we're all kind of fighting for those same rooms, so that's kind of been a big issue.
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because that was another topic that I had was, you know, for those that work for a city or municipality, a lot of the trend lately is just, okay, we don't have money or bonds to build 3 separate facilities. Let's just build one mega facility where it accommodates, you know, everybody. And I've worked in one of those, and it was not accommodating to everybody. It was like Robert said, sometimes the seniors got to get pushed to the side. So does anybody have any thoughts on that, and seeing those being built more? I'm sure I personally don't like them, but I've seen them. Has anybody experienced, I mean, other than Robert, experienced that?
You don't want to put seniors with teens.
Oh, we're fixing to.
Okay.
Bob?
Teens running around, basketball.
Well, we have a couple of rules on that.
We've talked about adding a meeting to the Portland Community Center.
At what?
At the community center for the seniors.
We don't let the kids run around unless they're in a place like the gym or the walking track where they should be running. 2, they don't bounce a basketball, a volleyball, or anything else unless they're in the gym. I mean, if they do, we tell them, you know, and they pretty well get it. Okay, so Bobby's putting the pressure on me to mention our upcoming intergenerational program. I guess for about the last year, maybe last 6 months, our youth coordinator has been doing team cooking classes. And each week they cook a different thing and they'd be able to take it home, you know, and share with the family. Well, starting in September, they're going to cook one thing like every Tuesday. So first Tuesday they'll cook this, second Tuesday that, you know. And then on the last Tuesday, they're going to cook all the things that they've already practiced cooking. And we're going to have the seniors in to eat. So, and what we're doing is we're getting recipes from the seniors for kids to make, and then the seniors can give them feedback. Oh, you made it better than I do, or oh, you really improved it, or whatever. We're excited about that.
But it's a great idea to time together.
Yes. Intergenerational program works. Yes.
Okay, well, the last thing we're going to do is you got about 2 minutes, so make it quick. How is your facility recruiting baby boomers? We kind of want to touch on that a little bit, but I know it's kind of hard to do that in 2 minutes. But has anybody got any specific programming out there? Has anybody talked about changing their name for the facility, get rid of the senior center title?
The name senior.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. With the city of Corpus Christi, we had some town hall meetings geared around that topic for how recruiting baby boomers and really to get feedback on why people in the community do not attend the senior center. And some of the feedback that has come back is simply that because of the name. So the advisory committee is looking at that on ways and how we're going to address that. Because the older senior is going to prefer senior center. But the boomers and the younger seniors, you know, whether it's a community center or just the name and the word center after it, that's still yet to be determined. So they would prefer it not to have the word senior in it, senior center. So that's something that we'll be addressing within the year.
Yes, ma'am.
I did change my name last year.
What did you guys change it to? From and to?
We were the Bulverde Senior Center, and we changed it to the Bulverde Spring Branch, which is both communities that we have there, Bulverde Spring Branch Activity Center. And then we put a slogan line, serving adults 50 plus. We didn't want to have the community name because we wanted to, the seniors that we had there wanted to make sure it was still a senior facility. We also wanted to, you know, you have the 82-year-old coming up to you and saying, I'm not old enough to be a part of the senior center yet, you know. So, I mean, we were trying to go both ways, and we really talked to a lot of the seniors and the members that we had there and let them know for future generations, in order for this to be, vital and keep going, we really need to make some changes, and they were okay with it after a lot of talking first and not just going in and saying, hey, we're going to change the name, this is what we think, you know what I mean? So we really talked to them and said, this is why we're doing this is what we're thinking. And they were happy as long as we put the serving adults 50 plus, because they didn't want to change the name and then later come down and having a lot more youth organizations coming in and doing different things, which is good, but they didn't want them to take over the center. So a lot of communications ahead of time, and they were all positive about it. And it took 2 years of talking to them about it, and then we actually had a vote on it to see if they would like to do it, and it passed 93%. So,
you know, that would actually be a very interesting topic, just kind of see from the outset all the way kind of how
That happened.
Yeah,
I got a lot of documentation. And it was very thorough in going through that, because I didn't want to make that change. I wanted to know for sure that this is something we should do. And it's been a great success because our membership has gone up 15 to 20% ever since we did that. And we are still serving, we do serve 50 and above, so. I'm sorry, go ahead. every letterhead, everything has that slogan line, serve 50 plus, so they know it's not any complication of, what we're trying to change our direction.
As a baby boomer who's about to retire, I have a lot of volunteer time on my hands. And hopefully what I'd love to do is volunteer some of my to become a hub for volunteer opportunities, maybe partner with the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program in your area to help provide some of those functions. We were talking, public-private partnerships is another big opportunity, I think, for the senior centers. You touched on it here and there in your discussions. But we were talking here about the need for pools, for swimming pools, for senior exercise and things like that. There might be some partnerships you can do with your local Ys and things like that. If you can't afford to put the pool in, or you know, if you don't have the funding for something.
Those are expensive.
I know, and you know, your local Ys probably already got one.
We get a call every day or every other day about if we have an indoor pool, and that's not exaggerating.
Well, anyway, just think about some partnerships with other organizations in your area, and how you can use the talent that's coming out of corporate America in a volunteer mode. We're not ready necessarily to. I think that's why the senior center stigma puts off the baby boomers, because we're not ready to stop working. Okay, I'm not going to get paid, but I'm not ready to stop working. Let me work for you. Let me volunteer for you.
I think that's a good place to end, because our time is up and maybe a minute or two over. Thank you guys for attending. Please feel free to take my visit card, email me, give me a call when you get a chance. Hope you enjoy the rest of the conference, and have a great day.